has done it. The dream has become reality. For the first time in school history, the Texas Tech Red Raiders are going to the Final Four.
Welcome to Stadium and our behind-the-scenes look at Chris Beard and the Texas Tech program. A year ago, the Red Raiders went all the way to the national title game, and Chris Beard has put this program in a completely different light, along with some of the big boys in college basketball. I went down to Lubbock to try to figure out how Chris Beard has been able to do it. So we're 2020 right now. Where were you 10 years ago? You remember? 2010. Which stop were you at?
I think that's about the time we were finishing up here at Tech, round one. So
when you sort of had a job, didn't have a job, Gillespie came in.
Yeah, there was some
right?
muddy times there. I don't remember much. I remember our last couple years here with Pat were great personally. He's a great friend of mine. Learned so much from Pat, and proud of my association with him for sure.
So then ABA shortly thereafter.
Yeah, we did South Carolina Warriors when we left Texas Tech, and then we did McMurray University, Angelo State, Arkansas, Little Rock. Fortunate enough to be in Vegas, and then certainly here at Tech. It's been a ride. I mean, you took that UNLV job for what? A couple hundred hours, and decided to come back. But girls were closer, right? A couple hours away. How much did that impact you coming back here? It was definitely a factor. I mean, and I wouldn't apologize to anybody for that. Family's the most important thing, always has been, always will be. The timing of the UNLV move, I've said a million times before, was awful. Nobody liked it.
UNLV has found a new head coach for the Running Rebels men's basketball team.
So it'll be a challenge, and certainly not a slam dunk as to whether or not Chris Beard can get it done at UNLV. He officially becomes UNLV's 7th head coach in the past 20 years, 12th overall.
Tubby Smith has emerged as the leading candidate to be the new coach at Memphis.
We had an 8:30 meeting scheduled on Wednesday morning, an 8:30 meeting on campus to meet with a few donors, to meet with the system staff about a new basketball practice facility at Texas Tech University. That was on Wednesday morning at 8:30. Coach doesn't show up to the 8:30 meeting. I tried to call to see when he was going to arrive, and he had gone silent on me. He in fact called me this morning at 6:45, but was not in Lubbock, Texas, had stayed in Memphis last night, and told me that he had intended to take their job.
Sometimes in life, opportunities come and you have to make decisions, but the girls being right here in West Texas certainly was a factor.
The Running Rebels are once again searching for a new coach after a surprise announcement from Chris Beard.
He's now headed to Texas Tech, where he was a longtime assistant coach.
April 16, 2016, you hired Chris Beard. What did you know that the rest of us didn't know? Like, how did you know this?
Well, that date, actually we had a press conference in this very arena, and it was at that time that Chris Beard said, "I'm coming home." And he used the analogy of when Bear Bryant left Texas A&M and went to Alabama.
In his career, to go to Alabama, people asked, why is this the move, Coach? And he said, when mama calls, you've got to go home. Texas Tech is my mama, and I'm home, and I'm so glad to be here.
I knew this was the perfect fit for him. And I remember vividly watching Arkansas Little Rock beat Purdue on a cell phone in a terminal, and you thought, this guy's special. He has won at every level. And it just seemed to be the perfect fit for Texas Tech.
Why do you fit here in Lubbock at Texas Tech? Why? It just seems like a perfect marriage. Why?
Growing up, I'd always been like a Cowboys fan, and when you're a Cowboys fan, you know all about the Steelers, and you always heard about how the Steelers represented their community and their state, and I didn't really understand that at the time, but I think I'm growing to. I think what West Texas is people that work. You go to work every day, you get what you earn. What West Texas is you shake somebody's hand and your word means everything. Not a lot of contracts flying around here in the business world, but there's a lot of handshakes. I think that's the things that we stand for. You know, we've never professed to be better than anyone, but we also have a confidence about us that we don't think anybody's better than us. We get up every day and we go to work, and I think the people here in West Texas respect how our teams play.
Have you thought about, again, 9 years ago, whatever it was, none of these dudes, the Roy Williamses of the world, the Kays, the Cal who's coming in, Tony Bennett, let's face it, they had no idea who you were. Am I wrong? Like, you could walk by them.
I think that's safe to say.
You could walk by them at an AU event, and they wouldn't even look at you. I mean, they might have thought you were the guy taking the packets. Now, has it hit you how different it is for you now in the industry even?
Yeah, it really hasn't. It's a fair question. I get it. I'm not trying to downplay it, but you know, I remember being in Myrtle Beach, and me and George Tuttle were watching the NCAA tournament at a sports bar right there on the main strip in Myrtle Beach by the beach, and just, you know, always had a confidence to myself that we would end up here one day. Didn't know where the journey was going to take us, but it's just like I tell the players. You get up every day, you work on your craft, you worry about the process, not the next game, not the outcome, just what you're doing every day, and that's really what we've tried to do in coaching.
So explain to me the difference of you walking around campus now as opposed to year one.
Yeah, I mean, to deny it wouldn't be truthful. It's definitely a little different, good and bad. I mean, that first year, me and Augie, we could go over and eat lunch in the student union, and nobody would say anything. We'd wait in line, and they'd charge us double. But now, certainly,
you get freebies now?
It's been great. Not necessarily freebies, but don't have to wait in line as much. But it's been great. Our fans are some of the best, or if not the best, in the country. We're excited to show the nation here in this Kentucky game what Texas Tech basketball fans are like. You know, they show up on the road, as you know, you and I have talked about before, Goodman, how great they were in New York and at the Final Four. And so, you know, our fans in a lot of ways have really helped us build this program.
What's it like working with Chris Beard? What's he like? You know, you hear some stories of coaches that are maybe tough to deal with because they're demanding, especially of the athletic director. They want this, they want that. What does Chris Beard want? What's the highest maintenance thing about dealing with Chris Beard?
He just wants your best. He wants everybody's best each and every day. And because he knows that's what he's giving. He knows that's what the young men on this team are giving. They're giving their best every day. And he expects that from everybody around him. And that's what you want. You want coaches who push, who drive, who set a bar of excellence. And that's what Chris Beard does. And I appreciate that.
So an Elite Eight, a national title game appearance, and what looks like another NCAA tournament appearance this year if things go right later. What makes him so special? I mean, it's hard to explain to people the job he has done here in not only rebuilding it but sustaining it. What makes Chris Beard so elite level?
A sense of urgency and a relentless, passionate drive to win and to be the best. I think back, you mentioned the Elite Eight in his second year here, and we got beat by Villanova. And I remember at TD Ameritrade being just in that close hallway outside of our locker room. Game had been over about 12 minutes. We just finished addressing the team. And I was standing there, and somebody comes up from behind and kind of gives me a pat on the backside. Didn't know who it was. It was Chris Beard. And I turned over my shoulder, and he looks me in the eye and he says, "Don't think for 1 minute this is going to define where we're going as a program." He was already thinking ahead. He's so driven to play on Monday night, to win on Monday night. That just fuels him unlike anything and anybody that I've worked with.
So you got him a nice office, and he never uses it. All right, so this is the office, but this isn't really the office. Like, you don't spend any time in here.
Just recruiting, and from time to time, like,
sit down
to meet with somebody. My buddies coming here before games, and it's basically like their personal happy hour.
Let them just kind of hang out in here?
Yeah.
Enjoy it a little bit? All right, so first, Alan. What's Alan doing in here?
When we were coaching at Angelo State, we went down and played one of our rivals, West Texas A&M. And the students were giving me a hard time before the game. And I look up there, and one of the kids got Allen. So I love The Hangover, it's my favorite movie. So I called him down, and I was like, hey man, no matter what happens in this game today, I want to buy that from you after the game. I'll give you $100 for it. So the kid was like, yes, sir.
$100, yeah.
So it was like the best Jedi mind trick ever, as Pat and I used to say.
So what else we got over here?
This is one of my prized possessions. So when I was a kid in junior high, I actually came to Texas Tech. It's my only time in Lubbock. I came to the Gerald Myers basketball camp. And we won the Hot Shot Award. At the end of camp, they ran out of trophies.
Well, first of all, what's the Hot Shot Award for? What is this?
You know, man, you get the 5 points
Hustle?
for top of the key.
Oh,
1
that
point
one.
for the
Okay,
layup,
yeah, I
3
got you.
shots,
I got
30
you.
seconds.
All
So
right.
win the award, last day of camp, ready to get the award, never get it. And kind of frustrated about that, you know, where's my certificate or whatever. They say we'll mail it to you. Get back to Irving, Texas, never get it. Call the Texas Tech basketball office, long distance, you know, 25 cents a minute.
You're wearing
few
them out,
times.
aren't you?
Never get it. Always kind of had a sour taste in my mouth about Texas Tech. Years later, I'm here as an assistant with Coach Knight and Pat, and I see Gerald Myers, you know, and I don't, it's not my role. I got to stay in my lane, so I really can't say anything. But every time I saw Coach Myers for 10 years, I kind of had this uneasy feeling like, where's my trophy? So, you know, we finally get the job here as the head coach, and right after the press conference, or maybe during the press conference, I call him out, like, where's my trophy? And Coach Myers, being the great guy he is, actually gives me the trophy like 30 years later. So
And writes a little
I got
note here
got
that says
got
what?
the letter, yeah, perseverance.
This is a close replica of the trophy you would have received 35 years ago when you were 8 years old. Sorry for the mix-up of you not receiving a trophy then. Would have been more exciting if you had received the trophy at 8 instead of. But you seem pretty excited.
Yeah, it's kind of like you coming to Lubbock, you know, better
That's right.
better late than never.
All right, so since we walked in the room, this is what I want to know. I mean, you're a country guy, and we got Biggie and Tupac here. Like, what is going on?
I do love country music, but above all, I'm diversity, variety. Kind of like I tell our players, you know, like, do you want to eat seafood every meal the rest of your life? No, you want diversity. I feel the same way about music. These are two of my prized possessions. Cliff Kingsbury, played football and coached here. Now the head coach in NFL is one of my great friends, and he gave me these. I'll never forget Cliff doing that for me. We have a special friendship even today, but every time I look at these, I think of Cliff, and these are two of my prized possessions.
But he's never in there. He's in this other room, the film room, whatever it is, a conference room. That's his deal. When you walk in there, I mean, it looks like a train wreck. It looks like a tornado hit that room. Do you try to tell him, like, Chris, like, go, we got you this nice office. What are you doing?
That's the war room. That's his prep room. That's his man cave. That's where he spends all of his time. And he will show you where every sheet of paper and every memorabilia item is in that office. You've seen it. You've dug through the records.
I don't know how he knows where anything is in there. All right, so this is it.
Yeah, it's just the conference room, which is basically turned into our war room.
So you don't have, like, a cot in here? Like, how many times have you fallen asleep in here?
I take a nap from time to time.
Oh, I heard, while you're watching film?
That's our reindeer.
I don't want to break the reindeer.
Yeah, be careful, Goodman, please. That's Loyalty, the reindeer.
Yeah.
He's been a part of a lot of our teams, and yeah, he just symbolizes loyalty. My youngest daughter made sure I got that.
You need somebody to come in, like, and really organize this.
No.
Really organize this. Like, what is under this pile, Beard? Like, at the bottom of this pile, what the hell? Come on. What is this?
No, that's
what is this?
Let's see. That's a parking pass from last season, so we don't really
Right,
need that
that's what I'm
anymore.
saying. Can we, like, we need a little house cleaning here. What's your biggest fear? Your biggest fear in life is what?
Just not putting our guys in position for the next game to be successful.
Really?
You know, I think fear is a great motivator. I think anybody that says, hey, you know, I'm tough, I don't fear anything, doesn't understand how to compete. I think, you know, like Mike Tyson said it best. He said there's a certain fear every time he gets in the ring. He's scared to death what the other guy could do to him. But then when the competition starts, his preparation kicks in, his confidence. But there's no doubt about it. Fear is one of the best motivators. And I'm scared to death that we won't be able to score a basket against Kentucky. I'm scared that we won't be able to get a stop, but that's kind of what fuels you.
finesse above the rim, finesse game. That's not us. It's got to be physical. It's got to be popping. Everybody's got to get a little dirty, a little bruised. Everybody got it. Two-man block out right here. Go hit that pad. Hold that pad out. Bring him out. Your teammate shoots. Crasher's got to go. We need 15. We need 8 points. You got to get off the TV screen. You got to go. You got to get back. Everybody got it. It's the game within the game. You do this, you're going to have a chance to win the game. You don't, we're not. We're not trying to play a clean game. We don't need a smooth game, a sexy game. We need a tough, physical, a little bit dirty kind of game. You understand? So you got to do your job, you crashers, and you block out guys. You got to get it done. It's the game within the game. Back to stress.
What's this Kentucky game going to be like? The atmosphere? Like, how are you feeling going into this game right now?
I feel great. I'm ready to get out there, play in front of the best fans in the world. It's going to be crazy. I'm quite sure it's a sellout. People are camping outside, whatever. It's going to be a pretty big environment. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, how much, I mean, not that this program hasn't already been on the map. They have, but how much does this mean for you to be able to get a victory against a program like Kentucky that's one of the kind of, you know, the blue bloods, right?
It means a lot to get a win. They are a premier college program. Quite sure wherever they go, that's everybody's biggest game or whatever. So to get a win against them, that's huge.
All right, Beard, where are we going? What are we doing? Night before the game, you got a lot on your mind. What are you doing?
Yeah, I think it's important that we take our players out here and let them see the environment, let them get emotionally attached to this game just like our fan base is. So we talk a lot in our program about smelling the roses. Yes, it's the next game on the schedule, but it's obviously a cool opportunity. So I'd rather my guys kind of live it and be in the middle of it than it be too big of a moment tomorrow.
We ready? Our fire may not stay on.
Tech students, Red Raider Nation, welcome to this week's edition, evening edition of the Fireside Chat, joined by my good friend, Jeff Goodman. Goodman, welcome to Lubbock.
Good to be here.
Welcome
to be here. This is not what I expected. I'm going to try not to burn you with this.
Welcome to the Fireside Chat.
This is like the greatest honor I've ever had in my entire life. Like, honestly, I can die and go to heaven now.
Like it. Tech students, right to the point here. Come on out and join the camp out here. We've got food, we've got refreshments. Many tickets are still left for the game tomorrow. Over 2,000 tickets. Get in line now. 5 o'clock tip tomorrow against Kentucky, a team that we have nothing but respect for. One of the best teams in college basketball. Doors open tomorrow at 2:30 for students. I encourage you to get in line tonight to assure yourself a seat at the game.
Are you ready? Here we go! 1, 2, 3!
My man Jimmy Dykes
Yep.
here.
Yeah.
Big game.
It's great to see.
Yeah, Kentucky, Texas Tech, and Lubbock. Who would have thought this would be the biggest game of the weekend?
Yeah, and it is, and it's you know, I think John Calipari probably had a voice in wanting to come to Lubbock, you know, and he's always done so many great things for the game. I think the respect that he has for Chris Beard and what they did last year, and just to take his guys on the road, although it's in the challenge it was set up, you know, this is a huge deal. We're going to arguably say the biggest non-conference game in the history of Texas Tech basketball.
Back in my day, I would say Kansas coming in was huge, you know, moving into the Big 8 and then, you know, turned into the Big 12. But for Kentucky to come here, Coach Cal definitely has built a powerhouse there, all the history that comes with it. So for us to pull out a win, and you know, there will be some blue faithful in the house here, but I'm sure the Red Raiders will show up loud and proud, and our guys will give us their best, and we can get out of here with a win.
It's the biggest non-conference game in Texas Tech history as we welcome you here to United Supermarkets Arena, where the day has finally come. The Big 12 SEC Challenge with a crescendo here to this floor out in front of us. And Big Blue Nation, the Kentucky Wildcats, ranked 15th in the country against your 18th ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders. Moretti, straight on three, dump down low, layup good for Shannon.
Well, this place is going nuts. The ball pass back outside. Edwards laid it off to Chiwa, and he scores again underneath. Reverse layup. Quickly at midcourt, launches one from there. Oh, it went in. It went in from midcourt.
Tech down by 5. Moretti off the screen. Wants to go back left. Plows in. Finds Holing. Layup good.
That's just high-level pick-and-roll basketball by Morrow.
Higgins bolts right all the way to the rack. Left corner. 3 in the air. Hits back rim and misses. Rebound Holyfield. 3-2. Moretti for the win. Strong off the glass. And we go to OT. Edwards driving. Got to the window. Layup good. That's the first points of the overtime for the Red Raiders. And Tyler Edwards bangs it off the glass and in. Edwards dancing at the top of the circle, rising for a long shot, good. At the 2, 35 seconds left in the overtime. Tech down by 2. Moretti drives, hands it off, layup good. Hit the basket. He's fouled. Big Mac McCullough. McCullers free throw way short. They're going to throw a baseball pass down court. McCullough hit it. And that's the ball game. Kentucky wins 76-74.
Let me say this. I've been in all kind of different arenas. This was a classy crowd. The job that Chris has done, he said it, they play different. And he bought in and got kids to buy in, and the way they play is really hard to play against. And to come into this was a terrific win. And you're right, we get a lot of these, but this was kind of unique and special.
That's a team that certainly is going to be an equation to win 6 straight. So to play with them, and again, be right there with them, does it give you more optimism that you can be there too? Again,
I think it just justifies what we know. We know we're good enough to play with anybody in college basketball. We've proven that, whether it be a Louisville win, whether it be an overtime 1-possession game in Kentucky today. What we got to figure out is the consistency, though. If we can play with this kind of effort the next 2 months, then I think we'll be a factor in March.